Hi everybody, Ron Placone here. So I'm trying something a little new. Not sure how this is gonna go, but what I'm doing, I'm having a bit of my own version of a consumer watchdog type thing. Yeah, just a buyer beware type segment. Again, not sure how this is gonna go, but here's what happened to me recently. I was staying in a large hotel, and this was a part of a large hotel chain that is known throughout the country and has a bit of a higher caliber reputation, I would say. I won't give out the name completely, but let's just say that the name of this hotel chain rhymes with Milton. So there you go. I was staying at one of those in the fine city of Indianapolis. Now, why I was there, a friend of mine from college was getting married in Indianapolis. And I was with some other friends. Now, two of my other friends, also from college, we'll say their names are Georgia and Mark, not their real names, but those are their names for the story. The four of us, me, my fiance, Georgia, and Mark, all decided to get a hotel room together for the evening. And a couple weeks before, Mark contacted me and he said, "Hey, Georgia can get us a free night at the Milton because of the points that she gets from her job. She travels a lot for her job, so she's a member and gets a lot of points. So she was able to get us a night there for just a couple fees. It was like $20. So cool deal. Sounds awesome. The location was killer. We could get to the wedding venue pretty easy. Awesome. So she booked it. We were good to go. We're driving in. It's the day of the wedding. And unbeknownst to my fiance and I, Mark and Georgia were very heavily involved with our friend's wedding. They were, Georgia was the officiant and Mark was in charge of all the music. They did an excellent job, but they were very involved in all the planning. So by the time we were heading into Indianapolis, they were already at the venue. They were already setting up and doing their thing. So I was like, okay, well, when are you guys going to check in? And Mark said, we're not going to check in until like after the wedding. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we were going to go there beforehand to get cleaned up. So Georgia calls the hotel. I'm on the phone with them while she's calling them, and I can hear her talking to them. And she tells them who we are, that we're going to be coming in. The reservation she made was for 4 adults. So it's all up front here, and we are the 2 other adults, my fiance and myself. We get to the hotel, and we say, hey, we're with Georgia. Our reservation is under her name. And I give my ID. And the hotel employee says, you're not authorized to enter this room. And I say, are you sure she called you guys? And I was on the phone with her while she called. Like, I know she called you. And they said, well, you're not on here. And somebody would have marked it down if they did. And I was like, okay. And they're like, you need to call her. And so I was a little annoyed. I mean, we had driven a while. We were pretty tired. We really wanted to get ready to head to the wedding ourselves. But, mistakes happen, whatever. And I just said, I feel bad bothering her. She's planning a wedding right now, which is what we're here for and what we want to get ready for ourselves. But I'll go ahead and do that. I call Georgia. She answers the phone, tell her, hey, for some reason they didn't mark it down. Can you just confirm via phone with the hotel employee we're with right now? She does, whatever, a little annoying. No big deal. It happens. The hotel employee was a little bit less than friendly, but whatever. I'm not that easily insulted. I'm just going to move on. Get ready for my friend's wedding, which I was really excited about. So as we're in the room getting ready, we get a phone call from the hotel. And we pick it up and they said, hey, there's something wrong with the method of payment you used. And I said, well, we use no method of payment. Our friend made the reservation, but what's an issue? And they said, well, there's some issue. And I said, well, what's the problem? We were just down there. What's the issue? And the person goes, well, you can speak to a manager. Again, could use a few classes in customer service. But I was like, okay, we're getting ready for a wedding. Our friend made this reservation, who is at the venue now and who is a member, who is a member of your rewards club or whatever it may be. So, we'll just have to sort this out. And they're like, well, we need to sort this out immediately. Okay. And hung up the phone and said, well, we're not going to sort this out immediately. We have a wedding to get to, and that kind of takes first priority. So we're a little annoyed with the hotel chain at this point. So we get ready for the wedding. We go to the wedding, have an excellent time, wonderful wedding. And the 4 of us go back to the hotel. It's late. We take an Uber back because, none of us were very sober. Take an Uber back to the hotel, order a pizza, have a pizza. It's just like the old days, right? Had a wonderful time. Wake up the next morning, and the hotel calls again. And I mentioned to Georgia, I was like, yeah, apparently there was some issue, by the way. We didn't have time to deal with it. So Georgia picks up, and they say, yeah, there was something wrong with the method of payment. She goes, okay, we're just getting dressed, and we're going to check out. So we'll get that solved as soon as we come down. And apparently they were kind of rude to her about it. And she's like, look, if it's that big of a deal, we can just do this over the phone. And they say, no, when you check out's fine. So it's kind of weird they're treating a member this way. But I was like, yeah, they weren't very nice to us either. So she goes down. Turns out it was just some kind of like that they were using the wrong card. It was like something attached to the company when it shouldn't have been. She solved it within 5 minutes. No problem. Whatever. No big deal. So as we're getting ready to check out, Mark notices that he does not have the keys to his car. And this is pretty bad because they live in Chicago and they need to get back to Chicago because they got to go to work Monday. Me and my fiance, we had to get back to Nashville. I actually had to be in Nashville at 4 p.m. for a show that I had going on. So he's scrambling to try to find his keys. He does not find them anywhere. He's thinking, I probably left them in the Uber. That's the only thing I speculate. We go to where his car was parked. Keep in mind, they did all the music for the event. We took an Uber back. So, we were driving them around in our car. Their car was still parked at the wedding venue from the night before. We check all around, check the ground, look in the grass and so forth. Don't find it anywhere. We're hoping the keys are in the Uber. We call our Uber driver. There's a way you can contact the person. Don't get an answer. Chances are that Uber driver did an overnight shift and is still sleeping because it was like, about 3 a.m. when he dropped us off, the Uber driver. So we're like, okay, so we take them to some of the other folks from the wedding. There was a brunch going on the next day. So we know that at least they're with people. And then they're thinking, worst case scenario, we're going to have to rent a car, go up to Chicago, get our spare keys, go back down, get into our car, return the rental, and go back up to Chicago. Going to be a maybe ridiculous process, but hey, there are worse things that could happen in the world, surely. So, we drop them off, and then we have to hightail it back to Nashville because I got to be there at 4 p.m. I got to where I needed to be at exactly 3:54 p.m., so I made it by the skin of my teeth. So anyway, turns out the Uber driver had the keys, and, I checked in with Mark. He said, yeah, the Uber driver had them. Took him a couple hours, but as soon as he woke up, he did contact us, gave us the keys. So, Ron, that sounds like the hotel was a little bit less than cordial in your dealings with them. Why such a big buyer beware here? Well, here it comes. When the Uber driver contacted Mark, the Uber driver mentioned that he noticed that Mark had dropped his keys right away. He saw the keys on the seat as he was pulling out. So he pulled the car over. He ran into the hotel to say, hey, one of your guests, it was one of my customers. And of course, he had a way of looking up, our phone numbers because it was an Uber thing. And he said, they left their keys here. And the hotel refused to accept the car keys. So everything we went through that next day and us having to rush back to Nashville and them having to deal with the stress of, oh man, we can't get into our car, that all could have been avoided had that front desk just taken the keys from that Uber driver and then called us based on the information he would have given, and then we could have just came down, gotten the car keys, and thanked them. And of course, that would have made up for the kind of, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say rudeness, but the less than politeness we had been treated with so far. But they would not even accept the keys. Not only of a hotel guest, but a hotel guest that is a regular customer, that is a member, which our friend Georgia was. This is pretty unacceptable. I haven't sent a formal letter yet, but I'm going to. And just that's a buyer beware. If you're in the fair city of Indianapolis, you're looking for a hotel, maybe stay away from those that rhyme with Milton, despite how cool it might be. There's a little more that beneath the surface there. This is Ron Placone signing out.